Animals are your favorite band, or you just can't get enough of the Animals, House of the Rising Sun. Then you really need to get your hands on a Vox Continental organ, but like all vintage organs, they're kind of in short supply and can be pretty pricey, which is where Arturia comes in. So they've made this new emulation, the Vox Continental V. It's part of their V collection. You can get in that as well, and it's kind of not worth saying anymore. I mean, Arturia make great emulations. They've been proven. If you're looking at soft synths, they're definitely worth looking into. So as you can see, you might know Vox Continentals more as a single manual type of organ, and this one obviously has two. So this is really modelled off the Vox Continental 300, but as I'll show you, there's a bit of everything thrown in, so you can kind of get all models. If you really want to, you can even change the skin to grey, which is kind of more like, say, a Continental 300 with percussion from the UK. So if you're getting real specific about those kind of things, you can do that too. Let's just see, anyway, we'll switch that back to what you might know. So basically the Continental 300 has a lower, which is kind of like your standard Continental. You've got your standard pipes of 16 foot, 8 foot, 4 foot, and this fourth, which includes some third and fifth harmonics, as well as a couple of octaves up top. Then you've got your, here we go. So there's two engines in this. There's the Vox engine and the Jennings engine. The Jennings engine is the early one. So I'll give you a bit of a... So that's kind of how it sounds, and then I'll show you the Vox. So that's a bit of a later engine, as you can hear. So switching back, that kind of cuts a little bit more, the earlier one, and it's a bit more rounded, the later one. So I've gotten right into it here. So as you can see, you can get to all of these tuning points here. So the way that the original Continental worked is, it did a great thing. It basically eliminated the need to go through and tune every single, hundreds of little oscillators. So it was quite a sort of mechanic friendly organ, shall we say. So what you have instead is just these individual fundamental circuits. So you can go through and tune your keyboard however you want. You can, so these are slightly detuned now if I click on that. So some of these presets already have them tuned up or down, and if you want to, you can right click on it and really do minor tunes as well. It's what Arturia do best, which is give you ultimate control over every single little nuance of character in their emulations. So as you can see, you've also got background noise. So if I turn that down, it starts to get more hissy at the top. And you've also got this cool thing called key contact age. So it's like with all of these drawbars in the original have an individual contact point. So, and then as these age, they kind of, they deteriorate a bit. So you might get less contact, higher contact in some of them. So what this key contact age does is kind of emulates different vintages, like how well a Continental has been upkept. So if you whack it right up to 100, it's it's about as bad as it gets. But it's sort of, I noticed a few of them. So if you hear that key difference, you can hear that's lost a lot of the top there. It also gets a little bit more clicky, that click organ sound, which is pretty cool too. Just again, some more variation, just to kind of manipulate it to your needs. You've also got your classic vibrato there. And in extended mode, you can open that up and get some trem as well, which gives you some pretty crazy effects. You can adjust the depth and rate up there. So, as you can see over here, so on the original Continentals, these used to be presets. And obviously now in our DAW well, we don't really need that. So what Arturia has done is basically just given us control over which manual we're playing. Or if I show you here, the bass pedals too, so you can flick to that. But I do need to give myself some sound here. I'll probably just go more siney. You know, and then you can split, and you can also set your split points here. And what you can do, there's also a multi-mode. So if you have a bunch of controllers set up, you could, you know, set a keyboard up for your upper, lower, and your bass channels. Then you can set up your MIDI channels there. You can do a fair bit with that. You can also shift the octaves of those keyboards too. So there's also this percussion setting, which is only related to the upper manual. So if I turn it on, and then you can apply it to the different pipe lengths, so that's more. And you can also get it to be a little longer. You've also got some reverb here, so you just pull this slider down. There's just 3 spring reverbs, so you got King, RB1, RB2 here with a few different EQ settings as well, which is really nice. Also got bass decay, which is pretty cool. Well, firstly you can set how deep you want your pedals to go. So either 8 or 16, obviously you can hear that dropping an octave. And so you can, which is nice because it's all monophonic, so it's kind of like using your feet. So you can set a bit of decay in it so that you, when you lift off, you can move to the next one. It's not too jarring. And of course, you have all your drawbars up here. So yeah, if you're looking at playing just like a normal Continental sound, you know, just rip them all out. Maybe your upper harmonics you want to tailor a bit, and use your lower manual. The sine wave here, so that's pretty self-explanatory. That's kind of like the flute tone. Then next to it, you have a filtered square wave, which is kind of the reed stop, and which is the same here for bass and for upper. With the upper, you get a sort of different set of harmonics. So with the number 4, the Roman numeral 4 there, it basically adds sort of like a high fifth, a high third, and an octave split up the top. You know, you can look at the pipe lengths of that. Or with the upper thing, you get a little bit more control, so it sort of splits it. So with the 2, you kind of get, well, let me show you that. I'll show you the lower one first. So this is, so it's a nice like simple way of introducing harmonics. Then if I go to the upper, I'll just rip all those. So that's your standard. And this one kind of introduced a lower fifth and the higher third, so that's a lot of harmonic in there. And this one adds a higher fifth and a couple more octaves up top. So you can balance those a bit. And a bit more sine wave, which is a bit nicer. Then, kind of the last little bit is you can go into extended mode, and it really opens up here. So you get 5 1/3 foot, 2 2/3 foot. So you really get control over all of your harmonics. So it just breaks it down. And what you also get is this extra. So right now I've got, I'll play on the lower register on my 4th, add a bit of harmonic. And so I've got my sine and reed on my flute and reed stops open. And then this last one is, it's kind of more like a triangle wave. Which is kind of nice. I call that string stop. So you get those across all of your manuals again. You also get a little bit more control over where that percussion hits, and you also get your trem on off here. Then what Arturia has done, just to really take you to that next level, is they've given you 2 more things. So you've got an effects slot here where you can put in delay, flanger, fade. So a lot of these are kind of like old, which is pretty nice. Even then, maybe type thing. And what you can do is you can set MIDI for everything. So if I wanted to assign that, I just click on that. Maybe I want to do so just using my modulation on my keyboard controller there. So I can also do things like assign my swell pedal, which is pretty cool. So if you've got an expression pedal or something, you can do that too. And then, so if you've got a controller with, you know, heaps of faders on it, you can set them all up to be your drawbars. You can set up rotaries to be tuning. So if you really want to hang one out and detune it, you can do that. What you've also got is a, you can go just direct in. You can set up a Leslie, which is pretty nice too. You can also use an amp. Now, you want the drive back on most of these. You got a sort of Fender blackfacey type thing, tweed, this half stack, I don't really know what that's from. With a spring reverb in there as well. You can also adjust the mic, so the 421's kind of nice. So that's pretty much it, which is a lot, as you can see. You can buy this standalone if you're just really into organs and you want a really great emulation, or you can get it in the V collection, get other great synths like Jupiter 8 and that kind of stuff. Really, really worth checking out. The more that you fiddle with it, the more you add character and add a few little effects and stuff like that, you know, it really brings it out. But, you know, it's also good for just smashing out House of the Rising Sun, which is not a bad thing to do. Well, thanks for watching.